Hey, welcome back to the Invisible Strength podcast. Today's guest is an elementary education major and a soccer player at Northwest Missouri State University. Her story is one of grit, grace, and resilience as she has navigated celiac disease. I'm truly honored and excited to welcome her to the show. Baylee, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
We're excited to get into your story. But before we even get into the celiac portion of it, can you share with our community who you were before your diagnosis?
Before my diagnosis, I was 9 years old.
Little.
So, just running around doing my own thing.
Yeah. Just being a 9-year-old kid having fun.
Yeah.
That's awfully young. Can you share how your symptoms started to appear and you started to figure out that something was going on?
Basically, my mom has celiac also. So, we kind of
Okay.
knew. She was diagnosed when I was in kindergarten. But then I was getting the awful stomach ache every single night before bedtime. A couple times a week at least, I would have to stay up and was throwing everything up. They're like, she's just trying to stay, awake. Like, she doesn't want to go to bed. Like, this is just her way of, getting out of bedtime. And then it happened when I had a friend over. So then they were like, oh, okay. So, this is a real thing we need to, work through.
Yeah, how did you feel when they were like, you're just trying to get out of bedtime when you're like, "Oh, this is not good."
I mean, I don't really, remember. I was just in so much pain, that was the most, grueling thing at the time.
I can appreciate that. Well, I have lupus and I can't
Mhm.
specifically relate to celiacs. When you get those stomach pains, like it can just be brutal. What was the diagnosis process like for you?
We just went back to the doctor, my mom got hers from, so, they just did, the blood draw, whatever, tested for, all the different allergies it possibly, could be, and then also celiac on top of it just because my mom already had it and, we knew it was a possibility. So then, all that came back, wheat, gluten, everything.
Yeah. So, do you remember what you felt like once you got the diagnosis?
I remember here when the doctor told us we were sitting in this office room normal, I remember I went straight into tears. I saw how hard it was just because at the time there was nothing out there really for anyone with it. It was just eat it, you're fine.
Seriously?
They told me not to, but they told me to go on the strict gluten free. But then all the restaurants, there's no options. And all these other places, there's no option. You go to the store and you have to get vegetables and fruit and meat, and that was it.
Goodness. Yeah, because I'm totally gluten-free too, and the restaurants are definitely getting better with options, but I would say it hasn't been till the last few years where more
Mhm.
and more places have gotten it, and just the brands that you get in the grocery store, they're becoming more options, but some of them, as you probably can relate to, are just awful.
So bad.
So bad, it's like, this is
So
not food.
especially, bread.
Yes, yeah. So I started just making my own sourdough
Mhm.
bread because all the store-bought stuff is just terrible.
Mhm.
When did you fully go gluten-free?
The summer after 4th grade.
Okay, so you were still young then. How was, like, navigating birthday parties and just hanging out with your friends in those situations?
It was very, in a way, isolating. But the teacher I had in 5th grade, when they bring the treats in the class, I had a special drawer with all the, treats I could have that my mom sent for me because she also worked in the school. So they communicated when there was gonna be a birthday party in the classroom. So, I'd have an option.
Okay, it's not great that your mom has it as well, but you
Mhm.
probably had just a little bit easier time knowing that she was familiar with what you needed.
Yeah, and then just to be able to connect with someone else about it.
For sure, because I so relate to that feeling of feeling isolated. Because a lot of people, even to this day, still don't understand. I remember going out to restaurants with friends, and they're like, "Onion rings, whatever else for appetizers." It's like, "Nope, nope, can't have that," which is fine. You end up doing your own thing, but it
Yeah.
can be challenging at times.
Yes.
And that was me as an adult. I can't imagine being a young kid feeling like that.
Yeah. And then through high school and middle school, we'd go out to eat and it'd be similar things. Hey, do you want to split this chicken wing thing? No, I can't. Like, whatever. And they're like, oh, why? And then you have to go down the whole, well, they're breaded, so I can't. And then they're fried in the same oil as this that has this. And yeah.
It's fine when you have to explain why, but after a while, it's just like, oh my gosh, here we go again. So can you tell us about your college experience? So now you're going for elementary
Yeah.
education. My sister is a pre-K teacher, so this is a field that I greatly appreciate. And you're um playing soccer. How have you managed all of that with celiacs?
Well, last year was pretty hard just because we only have to live on campus for 1 year here. So, like,
Okay.
to the dining hall last year was they have a certain one that's like all top 8 allergen approved, free, whatever. But like the food just wasn't it. So then I just feel like, ugh, I'm just gonna risk it today. Like I can't eat this cardboard anymore. I have to eat some real things.
You wanted real food, not the cardboard?
Yeah.
And what happened when you went that direction?
I mean, I still tried to make sure it was pretty normal, like not finding like the random ones that possibly could have gluten. So like a grilled chicken or a roasted chicken. So I'd stay with that. And then the ones that looked like they didn't have it for the most part.
Yeah, because once you get used to it, you're like, well, that looks breaded, or okay, that's more likely. So it's a bit easier to steer clear once you figure out which foods. But there are some sneaky times when I would have never thought gluten was in that. Some of the salad dressings, I'm like,
Uh-huh.
what?
Yeah. I've only had two like reactions since I was diagnosed. So like that's such a blessing for me, knowing that it's only happened twice and once was with Hershey Kisses. And I never would have thought they had it.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's surprising.
Yeah.
Crazy. So you playing soccer and you guys have to travel. How are you managing being on the go all the time?
Our coaches do a really good job here of making sure because there's one other girl that has celiac and then two other girls that went gluten free for other chronic pain issues and other things just because it's an inflammatory, so that'll cause other things. So they make sure we have options at every place and they're talking with us to make sure that they're picking places that we can eat at.
Okay, that's very thoughtful and understanding of them.
Yes.
You've felt supported by your team and your friends. That's incredible. Because, I
Hmm.
mean, that isn't always the case. Sometimes people just really don't understand it.
Yes.
I'm curious, are you on medication for it?
No, I'm not. I'm just the gluten free.
There you go. That's all you need. That's fantastic.
Yes.
What has been, like, the hardest season or just period of time where you've had to adjust or figure out how to stick with gluten-free?
The different ones have been hard for different reasons. Right when I was diagnosed, it was hard because I'd been going from eating everything I wanted to having the limited. And then college last year, when I had to eat the food they made, I didn't have an option otherwise. That was hard because I didn't want to eat certain things. Some days I'd choose to eat that stuff because I didn't want to deal with it. I'd end up with a salad and fries that were probably cross contaminated, but at the end of the day, I needed substance in my body.
Yeah, especially being an athlete, you need your
Hmm.
stamina. So there's times when you do have to bend the rules a bit to make sure you're getting enough fuel, especially with cross contamination. And it's different for everyone how severe they react to that. Is that something that you have to pay close attention to?
Yes and no. The fryer stuff doesn't bother me. Like, fries that were in, like, a chicken nugget fryer aren't, like, as bad as if I were to eat, like, french fries off the same plate as a hamburger with the bun.
Interesting.
Yeah, because it's something about them touching directly rather than just sitting and floating.
For sure. That makes sense. Everyone always talks about in the fryer if there's cross
Yeah.
contamination versus being on a plate. It's okay, that's much closer.
Mhm. Sometimes, like, you can feel it, reaction starting, so then you just want to figure out how to fix it, but then, like, other times you have no clue, and it just, like, hits you like a train.
So sometimes it's
Yeah.
less of a reaction.
Yeah. Sometimes you're feeling extra bloated that day,
Oh, sure.
and some days it's like the full blown everything.
I've been there. That is not fun. You're down and out. I'm
Yeah.
done. Has this ever affected your confidence in how you feel about yourself? And if so, how did you work through that?
I think it mostly, like, just affected, like, the confidence I have around, like, being around food. Like, going out to eat with people, it's like, "Oh, do you guys have a gluten-free menu?" Or, "Oh, like, what are your options, like, for me?" And, like, I had to learn to advocate for myself just because, like, that's not something I was used to. And, like, because of it, my mom would, like, order for me up through middle school just because I was so scared of all of that kind of thing.
Yeah, I've heard of a term called menu anxiety where people
Mhm.
are afraid to order, but I think it's unique in your case because it is such a sensitive issue. Sometimes it's just easier to eat at home, but when you're in those situations, it can be more challenging to think on the fly and figure out what you need. And every restaurant's different. So it's just a lot to navigate.
A lot of the menus now have a, like, wheat thing to say they're gluten-free. Whenever I would go out when I was first diagnosed, you'd have to search and be like, "Oh, this has this and this has this." And then,
Yeah,
like, I'd find something I want and then, like, "You can't have that."
and
So
that's
then I
so disappointing.
yeah. And I'd be like, "I just don't wanna eat then," even though I needed to.
That's such a good point because especially we talk about there's elimination diets and all sorts of different diets to help people with various autoimmune diseases. And I've heard time and time again that people just get scared to eat because they're like, I don't know what to eat and I don't know if I can have that.
Mhm.
How did you like kind of how do you handle those situations when you're just like, I don't know, and then tap out or freeze?
Now I'm not as, like, worried about it. When I don't find something right away, I'll sit there and look a little longer and eventually come across something I want. But in, like, elementary and middle school, I knew it was really, really hard. And so then I'd just start crying and crying, and they couldn't to stop. I was so hungry on top of it. They'd be like, "I'm just ordering you this, and if you eat it, you eat it. If you don't, we'll take it home and you'll eat it later."
I totally get that. It can feel really overwhelming.
Yes.
And plus, when you're hungry, your hormones go all over the place. So the tears just come, and it's like, I don't know what's wrong with me. You mentioned having two severe or more intense reactions.
Mhm.
What do you tell yourself on those hard days or during those hard times when it's just really tough?
You just have to get through it. I get a migraine and then I puke everything up. It's get through this to get through that, and then knowing after both of those, I literally will not wake up. I'll fall asleep and not wake up for, like, 15, 20 hours.
Oh,
There
wow.
and then just know I can sleep.
That's unbelievable. I think it probably just goes back to how exhausted your body is just from having to, like, go through all that.
Yeah, and, like, fight it.
Yeah, migraines are the absolute worst. Are they debilitating for you?
I tried to function the last time and made it maybe 20 minutes and just left.
I've only had 2 migraines in my life, but both times it was excruciating, and I
Mhm.
could not do anything but lay down. A couple of the times I couldn't even sleep because it was, like, so intense.
Yeah.
Not fun, not fun. On a more positive note, how has celiac changed you for the better?
It has taught me that I do need to, like, be able to advocate for myself and, like, actually be able to, like, communicate my needs rather than just, like, "It's fine, I'm just gonna eat at home," like, this and that. Being confident enough to advocate.
Yeah, it's a tough skill to cultivate, especially as we're growing up. You mentioned being scared to order,
Mhm.
but with a condition like this, you're forced to figure that out. You had mentioned not pushing through, but taking it one step at a time with the
Mhm.
migraines and then sleeping. We talk a lot about that invisible strength and what it takes internally to just get through this and take it one step at a time. So I'm curious, what does invisible strength mean to you?
just because we know we have, like, these different, like, autoimmune disorders and diseases. We have this, but, like, in the back of our minds, like, it's our superpower because, like, we're able to take it and make it our own thing and build all these different skills that we wouldn't have gained in the first place if we weren't being forced to go through it.
100%. You are pushed to learn the life lessons and skills that you wouldn't have otherwise. Well, I wasn't before or for many years, but now I am so very grateful that I got lupus just because I'm a whole different, much better person for having gone through those incredibly hard times. So, what kind of support has made the biggest difference for you throughout your journey?
I My mom having celiac and, like, being able to help me navigate it as I've been growing up has been a blessing that a lot of other people don't get to have. Being able to help me find different, like, foods. Say we go to a wedding, the wedding meal, we can have that or this.
It's not wonderful that your mom has it, but it is such a good thing. You had mentioned early on in the show, and we talk about the feelings of isolation a lot because not everyone does understand, but you having that relationship with your mom right from the beginning is such a silver lining.
Mhm.
How would you say friends and family could better support someone with celiacs?
From the friend perspective, like, realizing more of, like, not just, like, what they're eating, like, if they're going to offer some gluten something, "Oh, hey, do you wanna try it?" "Oh," and then they're like, "Shoot, sorry." Just thinking before you're offering, like, what they have.
Yeah, I've experienced that too, where people they're trying to be nice. "Oh, here
Mhm.
you go," and it's like, "No, can you please just remember," especially when I've already told you 5 times that I have this.
Yeah.
So just being more conscientious of it.
Yeah. And yeah,
If someone was just diagnosed with celiacs today, what would you tell them?
I'd have to tell them it does get easier. It's feels so hard and it feels like you're gonna die right now, but it gets better, it gets easier. You'll find your things, you'll find your foods you like and don't like and navigate all the different gluten-free brands you can find.
Yeah. Do you have any go-to gluten-free brands that you like?
It's like a teal box they have at Hy-Vee here. The whole brand is like the teal boxes. It's like Good Graces or something, but I could be very.
Well, I'll double check for you and then we'll put it out there. I don't know if you've heard of the Jovial brand at all.
Yeah.
Their pastas tend to
Mhm.
be better than some of the other ones. And then I think it's Bonanza, the chickpea
Mhm.
pastas.
Yeah. Yeah. I found the Char brand has sourdough. It only comes with like 5 slices. I have to use them sparingly, but that's the best one I found so far.
Okay, I'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
What would you say? What's one mistake people with celiacs make early on?
I just don't think they realize how many things actually have gluten or wheat in them. Random things you wouldn't actually even think of.
Like Hershey Kisses, like what?
Yeah. And then, like, some makeups and some, like, all of the things.
Okay, well, that's interesting. I didn't even think about makeup. Our skin is our largest organ, so you have to be careful of what you're putting on it.
Mhm.
Have you noticed a reaction if you're putting makeup on or lotions or anything?
Not really.
No. Okay. Question about celiacs and gluten. With the Hershey Kisses, that seems like such a small amount, but you still had an intense reaction to it. Is it that it's like a buildup or is it more the type?
If I get anything, like, I get my whole reaction, like, even a crumb off
Okay.
the, like, table. Yeah.
So even just that small of amount.
Mhm. Yeah.
That makes sense. You were talking about if the fries or your food was
Mhm.
close to a bun on the same plate, you're gonna react. Wow, that is just intense. It's crazy. It's just crazy how such a little amount can
Yeah.
have such an intense reaction.
Yeah. Everyone's reactions are all different, so you don't know what someone else's reaction is gonna be.
Sure. Someone who's diagnosed with celiacs, what are a few things that would make it a little bit easier in starting to figure out what they react to?
Today, society makes it so much easier on that. You can go to the store and have all these options instead of like having to rethink all your meals like, oh, you can only have these things in it and you can have these things and these, but like, you can find all the different substitutes and they're gluten free.
That's a really good point because when you first hear that you need to be gluten free, it's like, oh my gosh, I can't eat any of this stuff. You don't have to completely stop eating the things you love. Now there's a lot more alternatives. You just got to find the swaps for it.
Yeah. The swaps you
Yeah, I was just gonna say that just because you try one brand and it's horrible, tastes like cardboard, doesn't mean you should give up. There's becoming more and more options out there. Baylee, what's the best advice you've ever received?
Soccer, we always say the pressure we have is a privilege. Not everyone gets to do this. With celiac, it's a privilege in a way that you get to like learn all these different things about yourself that you wouldn't if you didn't have it, to go through and grow through what you are being forced to go through.
I love and appreciate that so much. It's such a silver lining to what can at first feel like such a maybe even a tragedy, but it's a great loss of your old life, but so much better things can come from it. Baylee, is there anything else that has stood out in your journey that could help our community?
Find the people that will support you no matter what. And like maybe like give gluten free a try too, like to help be a support system for you when you're like first starting or something along those lines. Cause I remember one of my best friends right when I was decided she was gonna go gluten free for like a month just because I was going through it too.
That is so supportive.
In like fifth grade.
What an incredible friend.
Yes.
I have one friend. Well, if you can't have it, I don't need to be eating it. I felt such a warmth. Oh, you
Mhm.
don't have to do that. But the fact that you're just going to make me feel more comfortable is wow. Find your people, your ride or die. There, it'll make your life a whole lot easier. Well, Baylee, I can't thank you enough for being here. I really appreciate you sharing your story. One thing I want to call out for our community is that even if you don't have celiacs, gluten is the number one cause of leaky gut, which triggers autoimmune activity. So, if you're willing and open, anything you can do to find those simple swaps could greatly reduce your symptoms. For me, once I cut out gluten, I was able to get off one of my medications, methotrexate, which is chemotherapy and very hard on your body. Cutting out that one area can make a huge difference. So, if you're open to it, try it. Baylee, thanks again for being here. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
To our community, make sure you check out invigorateyourjourney.com. We have resources, life coaching, and a whole community that's here to help you navigate your journey. So until next time, take care. Peace.